get to go and compete against somebody else. What was maybe important for you all to continue to get done here today?
We got a lot more cleaned up and which we've been doing all along, but I also thought the competitive spirit was on par, especially out of an off day yesterday. The last two practices have been very, very competitive, including today. So feel good about our competitive levels that we're reaching right now.
I know you guys focus on yourselves during training camp. Do you implement anything about, Denver, looking ahead to them in terms of scout or anything?
No, we'll have a shoot around tomorrow, and that'll allow us to cover them. They're going through the same thing too, so I don't think they're trying to scheme against us. And we're pretty familiar with their team. I think our team's a little bit familiar too. So mainly just our stuff and cleaning that up and getting that as far as we can get it.
For the rookies, just how beneficial is having the first two preseason games be away from home and just kind of on the road in terms of building those professional habits?
Yeah, good. Road norms, even just getting to the plane, what the road is like, when we have our meetings, what our normal road game flow is. We've got a handful of road games in this preseason, so that'll be good. And same thing when we're at home. The idea is when we get to the season, it should feel normal.
Mm-hmm. JRE was talking about trying to work on his leadership out there. And is it kind of funny to you, these young guys that were rookies last year, that they're stepping up into a leadership role? Besides JRE, who else has kind of stepped up in a leadership role?
Well, I agree with him. First of all, he walks the walk, and he's a great communicator on the court and just a connecting player on both ends of the floor. We say the leader's the person doing the right thing, so leadership's accessible to everybody. They can all lead if they just do the right thing. And you can lead with your whatever personality type you are or whatever experience level you are. Leadership doesn't discriminate here. If you're doing the right thing, you're leading.
Sam talked about you doing a really good job of kind of setting an environment for discovery. And I'm just curious, in practice, what does that look like for you here during training camp?
The discovery for the players, it's putting them in live situations and letting them navigate what it's going to feel like in a game. And so most of training camp was body on body, not a lot of walking through, maybe to introduce something, but then we get to it pretty quickly. Discovery for us is just putting a lot of different things out there, seeing a lot of different combinations of players, not cornering ourselves into the way that we see a player, understanding that players change in different roles over periods of time. And just trying to stay open, disciplining our mind to stay open and see what they bring to the team and, then assess it, with the new data points.
Goes back to the leadership thing. You guys haven't had many vets, age-wise or years-wise, the last 2 years. Have you just got lucky with the guys you brought in that they're natural leaders, or is that something that you mentioned to them, like somebody has to step up and be a leader?
Well, I think a lot of it's selection. One thing I know Sam's prioritized during this rebuild is getting guys that are kind of organizational fits. And I think he's definitely done that. That's evident. And then there's been a lot of guys that have come through the door. And, a lot of the guys that have been here and have stayed here, Muscala and Cameron Williams specifically, that are older players, are great organizational fits. They have great appreciation for the organization. They love being here. And they walk the walk in every possible way. And so we've gotten some veteran leadership from them. And then I would actually argue that with a young team that's trying to make its way, young players like Jeremiah being forced to lead, that's not the worst thing in the world for him or us long term. So thrusting them into those situations, I'm watching Shai work out right now. He's a great example of that. He's now in his third year as kind of a leader on the team. And, we reap the benefits of that being his third year doing that and not his first. And so, we're throwing them in the deep end and, seeing how they react. And a lot of them are rising to it.
So Jay Will said that Shai was the loudest on the Friday practice. How do you think that his presence on the bench will help for the younger team?
He was like gassing those guys up. I don't want you guys to think he was like coaching over there. But he was into it, very engaged. He loves ball, he loves basketball. He's got great joy for the game. He brings that when he plays and he brings that when he doesn't. And so, he'll be out here for a couple games and, he's got an infectious way about him that, like we've talked about many times, is really good for a team that's going through an 82-game season.
I was talking to. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
He's gonna be in the team in Denver. Or?
He won't travel in Denver.
Oh,
no, he's
okay.
gonna stay back and do his rehab. We're prioritizing the rehab, so he won't be there.
was talking to Lindy about Grant Gibbs, and it dawned on me just how many guys on this team have probably been impacted by Grant with the G League, whether it's Lou, Aaron, or Poku. Just what's it like having him here, and what's it been like this first week so far?
Well, he's also done Summer League, which has given him touch points with really everybody. It's been great, and I think it speaks to the importance or impact of continuity.
Yeah.
When you've got the familiar faces around, like we talked about, I think it was media day, putting the coaches in positions where they're in different situations, they're touching players, and then if they're here for a long period of time, they end up like Grant touching a lot of guys, but most of our coaches are in that situation. And so there's a lot of familiar faces around, which I think helps certainly the guys that are returning, but I also think it helps the younger players, the rookies, when they come in and they see everybody kind of interacting in a very natural way. It makes them feel more at home.
We got to see the Chet practicing shooting on Friday as well.
Chet?
Chet,
Yep.
yes.
How's he look?
Looks good.
Okay,
It
good.
looks good, I think. And then, always a question. So how is him being here, uplifting like a mood of the team?
He's got a great team spirit anyways. He's a team-oriented person. We talk about organizational fits. He's an organizational fit in terms of the type of team orientation he has. And I think, it's a humbling reminder to the guys that get to go out there and play every day that here's a guy that is hitting it every single day and won't get to play a game this season. So it's humbling for him. It's humbling for everybody else, but he'll be better for it.
What was your favorite non-Bruce Springsteen anthem?
That played out here? I'm a March Madness guy by Future, yeah. I've always liked that song.
Great choice.
We had a blue team that they played that song before every game. It was a really good team, and I really happen to like that team. I don't like every team. This one's still up in the air. And that song, I like that song, first of all, and it reminded me of that team. So
That's awesome.